As you guys know, Season of the Haunted has just kicked off pretty much, and we got the changes with Solar 3.0, which personally I'm liking. Some people are like, it's bad, it's good. I'm finding some middle ground here with some interesting builds, and in this video in particular, I'm going to be talking about a build with the Warlock Exotic Gauntlets, the Sunbracers. But before we get into it, as many of you guys know, the new Duality dungeon is available. It's on Leviathan. It's cool. We get throwbacks to certain Leviathan mechanics and some enemies. But if you need help with the dungeon, throughout the season, I will be doing dungeon carries and help. So if you haven't completed the dungeon yet, I would really enjoy taking you through it. It's a really fun dungeon. But I do stream these live on Twitch, twitch.tv/ItsDaveTVGaming. Make sure to follow that. And number 2, join my Discord. That's where I'm going to be chatting with people and helping you guys out if you need help with this dungeon. But let's get into the build. Like we mentioned, this whole build is revolved around the Sunbracers Exotic Gauntlets. So its perk, Helium Spirals, increase the duration of solar grenades. Solar melee kills grant unlimited solar grenade energy for a brief time. Pretty much once you get a melee kill, you'll see in the bottom left, it'll say it's like Sunbracers ready. As long as you consume a grenade with Heat Rises aspect or throw a grenade, basically that allows you to throw grenades for a short duration, just unlimited amount of them. And it's crazy. There's a lot of synergy with this build, so let's go over it. So if you haven't seen Solar 3.0, this is what it looks like. Again, it's very similar to Stasis and Void with this layout, but there are a couple things I want to talk about. So with the changes to Solar 3.0, we get a couple of things that allow us to cure ourselves and also Scorch and Ignite targets. So first up, Restoration is one thing. So if I ever refer to Restoration, this is what it talks about. You regenerate health and shields over time, cannot be interrupted by taking damage. And then you have Radiant. Your weapons are enhanced by the power of the Traveler and deal increased damage to your foes. And then you also have something called Cure. You're healed in a burst of mending solar light. And then we have the Ignition and Scorch. So first up, Scorch, the target is singed by destructive solar light, taking damage over time. The Scorch damage increases as the target accumulates more Scorch stacks. After enough Scorch stacks are applied to the target, they ignite, which causes ignition, a large solar explosion, which deals damage in an area around a target. So if I ever say any of those words, that's what I'm referring to. So first up with the super, you can either do Daybreak or Well Radiance. I'm just going with Daybreak here. For your class ability, I'm going with Phoenix Dive. This turned into a class ability versus something on a skill tree. So you dive to the ground, create a burst of solar light that cures nearby allies. While Heat Rises is active, you gain Restoration while diving and scorch targets upon landing. I would say either Phoenix Dive or maybe Healing Rift. The only reason I do Phoenix Dive is because we're going to be in air a lot, and if you want health back, all you have to do is just dive and automatically use your class ability. So it's really nice. Movement wise, I'm just using Burst Glide. Now the melee, you can choose either Celestial File, which is the OG one, but I would recommend going Incinerator Snap. Snap your fingers and create a fan of burning sparks that explode and scorch targets. Again, if you've ever seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, you know that Roy Mustang, the Flame Alchemist, he snaps and fire goes out. This is pretty much that same thing. But the cool thing with this, Incinerator Snap actually causes Scorch and Ignition, whereas Celestial Fire looks like it doesn't. So keep that in mind. Again, grenade-wise, we're going to be doing Solar Grenade because obviously we need to pair this with Sunbracers. Aspects. First up, Heat Rises. You can fire your weapons, melee, and throw grenades while gliding. You hold your grenade button to activate Heat Rises while consuming your grenade, and Final Blows while airborne increase the duration of Heat Rises and grant melee energy. That's going to be key, getting kills in midair. And then the other aspect we have is Touch of Flame. Your healing solar firebolt and fusion grenades have enhanced functionality, and specifically with the solar grenade, increases linger duration, periodically emits blobs of lava around its perimeter. Fragment wise, these are the ones that I'm rocking. We still have a couple that we need to look at and just check out. And again, if you find a better one or better build, you can obviously interchange these for, something more your playstyle. We're going to be talking about mods and also fragments you can substitute in at the end of the video. This is just the stuff that I'm using, so keep that in mind. There's a million ways to make these builds now, especially with all the fragments and aspect changes and everything. So just keep that in mind. Fragments I'm using: Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. Ember of Eruption, your solar ignitions have increased area of effect. Then Ember of Ashes, you apply more Scorch stats to targets. And then Ember of Searing, defeating Scorch targets grants melee energy. For my helmet mods, main things to note: Ashes to assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Again, if we're going to get the melee kill and then throw about a bunch of grenades to kill a bunch of targets, you might as well get some super energy back on that. And next I have Harmonic Siphon, rapid weapon final blows with damage matching your subclass type, create an orb of power. Again, you could rock double Ashes to assets. I just have this one on here. Doesn't really matter, those are interchangeable. And then for the mod here at the end, I have Heal Thyself. While you're charged with light, grenade final blows heal you and consume 1 stack of Charge of Light. On the gauntlets, main things to note here of impact induction, causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. Then I have fastball, increases grenade throw distance. To be honest, you can switch this out for a couple other mods if you want to rock double impact induction, or if you're going to be doing an activity with champions, you can also do that. And then we have Well of Life. This is an elemental well mod. Picking up a solar elemental well grants increased regeneration for a short period of time. On the chest piece, main thing to note is elemental ordnance. Defeating a target with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. So again, we get a kill with a grenade, it's going to spawn a solar elemental well. On the boots here, we have double invigoration, so reduces melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. And then we have melee well maker. Powered melee combatant final blows spawn elemental wells matching your subclass energy type. So again, the incinerator snap final blow is solar, it's going to spawn a solar well. Then lastly, for the class item, we have double outreach, reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability. Elemental charge, become charge of light by picking up an elemental well. If the elemental well's elemental type matches your subclass element, you gain 2 stacks of charge of light. And then I have a new mod from the artifact, solar fulmination. Your ignitions do increase damage and increase radius. Again, you don't need this on here, I just had it on here for fun. And again here, main stats to focus on is going to be melee. I want max melee cooldown, so pretty much I can use the melee and proc the Sunbracers perk more often than not. If you're not casting this synergy here, pretty much with melee wellmaker, you get a solar melee kill that spawns a solar elemental well. You pick that up, you gain Well of Life, which is health over time. You also get charge of light, and now that you got that melee kill, you can throw out as many grenades that you want with Sunbracers. And again, if you get kills with your grenades, that'll spawn more solar wells, which again you can pick up for Well of Life. But at the same time, as long as you're picking those up and as long as you're getting charged with light with elemental charge, you can proc heal thyself almost all the time. So as long as you're getting kills with your grenade, guess what? You're going to be healing yourself while midair. Because one problem with PvE content is that if you're caught midair and an enemy is literally destroying you, you're not going to be able to get your health back. So having that health regen is going to be great. And again, you're getting your super faster with Ashes to Assets. And if you need your melee, again, you pick up Orbs of Power with Invigoration. Or, like I said, if you're taking a lot of damage in midair, or if you need your melee back, you can always use your Phoenix Dive as something to cure yourself and also be able to get your melee back because of outreach on the class item. Essentially, you're creating the floor is lava with these really long-lasting solar grenades that also spawn lava blobs with them, and also being able to heal yourself in midair and constantly be able to have the cycle of melee grenades, melee grenades, melee grenades. It's so stupid, but it's really fun. Here are some mods you can substitute in. So for Heal Thyself, you can always go with High Energy Fire. Again, you gain a bonus to weapon damage as long as you're charged with light. That always comes in handy. High Energy Fire is just a staple charge of light mod. Next, you could always do something like Supercharge. Again, you gain an additional 2 stacks of charge of light up to a maximum of 5. And then also using Energy Converter with this build, you know, again, while you're charged with light, using your grenade attack grants you super energy, consuming all stacks of charge of light up to 50% of your super. The only problem is once you get 50% of your super, energy converter is useless until you use your super again. And with this, you are going to have your grenade a lot, so you could make a build around these 2 mods. Now, if you wanted to spec into strictly elemental well mods, again, you're already going to have melee well maker, elemental ordnance, and Well of Life. And then you could also do something like Font to Might, you know, picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type, grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. Basically, solar weapons do more solar weapon damage. And then Font of Wisdom, again, picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type, grants you temporary significant increase to your intellect, improving the recharge rate of your super. So again, solar elemental wells, pick those up for your solar super. You're going to be able to get the super faster. Or you can also use something like elemental time dilation with this and replace one of those mods with elemental time dilation. Pretty much elemental well mods that grant you time limited benefits can now stack, increasing the duration of the effect for each copy of the mod you have equipped. So pretty much something like Well of Life, Font of Might, and Font of Wisdom would last longer. I know that was a lot to take in. There's a lot of information, but if you guys have any questions or you have your own Sunbracers build, put that in the comments. I'll probably check it out because I'm messing around with Solar 3.0 on all classes, and I will be dropping videos for some of my favorite and useful builds on Hunter and Titan as well here in the future. And again, take this video with a grain of salt. There are a million ways to make a build now with all the mods that are available, plus fragments and aspects. There's a lot of things we can do with this, so just keep that in mind. But If you like what you saw, again, you can drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be dropping videos throughout the season to help you guys out with fun builds and maybe just some meme content as well. Also, like I mentioned in the beginning, if you do want help with the new Duality Dungeon, again, follow me on Twitch, join my Discord, we'll be able to help you out. Trust me, I got this thing down so easy, and it's really fun to meme in that dungeon as well. There's plenty of things to do in that thing. I don't even know, man. But in any event, we'll catch you guys in the next video.